record. Once you're ready, please let them know, and you have 15 minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mhm. Well, thank you both again for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Okay, so I wanted to get started asking you both about what interested you in taking on the roles and playing the younger versions of Ed and Lorraine Warren. How did you really become involved in casting the film?
From the get-go, I was just so excited to get the audition. And, I've been a fan of the Conjuring franchise since the first one. And I think for a lot of people, that really set off the whole universe. And for me, I mean, I got the audition and that night filmed it. And then I don't remember, like a week or two later, we got the call back. And that was the first time Madison and I met. And we just kind of instantly went into this crazy scene together and filmed that. And then, yeah, I was off to London not too long after that. But just the whole thing was, I was so excited since the very beginning.
Yeah, me too. I think, it's such a big world that they've created and such an epic franchise, and being able to be a part of it in any way has just been incredible.
And once you both signed on to play Ed and Lorraine, how did you both really maybe research or prepare? What was that preparation process like for you both and going into filming as well?
Yeah, it was, the studio, the production sent us a bunch of tapes from the real Ed and Lorraine, a bunch of interviews, but also I think I studied the films that existed already religiously, because it's, who the fan base has come to know. And so I think really studying the performances that were established was really important in capturing that sense of familiarity.
Yeah, it was a mix of both for me, of yeah, getting the real version of them and figuring that out, and then being able to set that aside and approach what Patrick and Vera have created so beautifully.
Mhm. And speaking about Patrick and Vera being in the playing the older versions of the characters, how did you really work to honor what they've done in past films, but also make the characters your own as well? What was that experience like for you both as well?
It was daunting, I'd say, from the beginning, but Patrick was able to meet with me and we talked through the beats of the scene and everything. And at the very end, he was kind of just like, yeah, you'll be fine, just trust your instincts. And since that moment, I was like, okay, how can I make this my own? How can I explore the younger version of Ed Warren? And really just asking all the interesting questions of what was it like before they were experts, how have they changed over the years? So really just exploring the younger version of them to make it more my own.
Yeah, I think they were, Vera and I sat down as well, and she was so generous with her time and her wealth of knowledge, and definitely, gave me advice if I asked for it on how to approach these scenes or how she would approach these scenes. But I think it was also really important to her to like have this kind of young, fresh energy in it. She's like, have ownership over that, and your perspective is important, and that's why you're here, because you have a younger and a different perspective. So she was very encouraging.
Mhm. And with that and Lorraine having such like a historic career overall together, what was it like getting to really play the younger versions of them as well, and really basing your characters not only on Patrick and Veer's performances in past films, but also in Ed and Lorraine's like real life like case studies? How did really getting to know more about them as people and their work as well really help with your performances in this film as well?
I think, a lot of it is thinking, or what was really fun is the part that we got to play is very much at the beginning of their professional career. So it was fun to, explore what they didn't know at the time. And, they learned so much, and we've seen them be these experts. So kind of embracing the fact that they didn't really know what they were stepping into, I think was really important in capturing that naivete a little bit and that youthful energy.
Hmm. And that no one else had really done it before. So not only were they experiencing it for the first time, but kind of the general public was also experiencing it. There was no roadmap for them, so they were making it up as they went.
once you began working on the film, did you both have time to really work together and with your co-stars as well, and really building your dynamic and relationship together on screen? What was that experience like, and just working and really building the characters together as
Yeah, I think, it's so easy to connect to Orion.
well?
He's the best. And we were sort of, we filmed in London, which neither of us are from there. And so it was
Mhm.
a new place together. We really only had each other to rely on. And I think that just naturally we were able to spend a lot of time together, our days off together, exploring London and building a relationship and a rapport for ourselves and talking about the characters. And I think just establishing a sense of trust with each other was really important.
Yeah, I think I forgot about this, but my birthday happened when we were out there. And the two of us like went out in London and like got a birthday meal, and it was like very celebratory. So I think pretty much from the get-go we were able to get along and work well together.
And speaking of being able to film in London and being on location there, how does really just being on location in general, especially for a horror film like this one that's so emotionally driven overall, like how does that help you get into character, like being on location and real sets as well?
It's different on location, especially because you are alone. You go back to your hotel room and you have so much time to work on the characters and to get in the mindset. And then walking through the city. The city we were in was St. Albans, and it's known to be kind of a haunted town. So I went to the pubs and talked to the locals about the ghost stories there, and walked through. They had all these little quaint graveyards that date back hundreds of years, and just really grasping the area that we were in helped inform the process for me.
I think I really love shooting on location. I think it helps you really immerse yourself and you don't have to worry about being anything for anyone else. You just get to really focus and hone in on what you're doing. And I think that's specifically helpful when you're dealing with something that's emotionally intense and really emotionally involved. You can kind of just be in your own world. And I really think that that is a helpful thing.
And besides the emotional arcs for the characters, what was it like for you both also in creating like the physicality and really showcasing more physical aspects of Ed and Lorraine? What was that experience like for you overall?
I think it was really important to me and I know to Michael to capture some of those mannerisms that Lorraine has. And I know I really worked on their specific ways that if I tilt my face, it definitely reads more as Lorraine. And, the way she walks, the way she carries the rosary, the way she says Ed's name, all of that is very, very specific. And I think as much as I possibly could try to tap into that specificity that Vera had created was yeah, it was important to me. And I just tried to study her as much as possible, but also study my own face and see what really translated.
Hmm. I think at least my face looks enough like Ed's, so that I got that going for me. But then it was a lot of just technical work of going through, yeah, the different ways that they move. Ed is so grounded and he's so down to earth, and he's, got this New England, Connecticut voice and dealing with that. And yeah, just kind of running that over and over and over again was how I got it done.
And also speaking about working with Michael as the director on the film, what was that like as well for you both, and really creating your characters and the film, the scenes that you're in with him on set as overall?
Michael's the best. He has such a clear vision for what he wants. So you're not playing a guessing game when you're with him. He's very much like, okay, like here's what this shot is, here's the purpose of the shot, here's what we want from it, and how can we get this done together? And so he was great to work with, and yeah, just overall such a positive experience.
Yeah, and he is obsessed with horror and he knows everything about horror and he has this very infectious enthusiasm that makes you excited to be a part of it and to be a part of the world that he's spearheading and leading. And he really knows what he wants, but he's so kind and has so much respect for everyone who's there that I think there was just an amazing sense of camaraderie on set, and that is really a testament to him. He was a great leader and just very genuine and kind and very grateful to have worked with him.
And just going back also to the physicality, and especially with like the costumes and the makeup and hair, what was that experience like in really getting into character for you both and really creating the looks and the costumes? What was that experience like on set?
Well, it was my first time ever being brunette. So they dyed my hair and I like didn't recognize myself. So it was interesting. And all, I mean, gosh, I find costume and makeup and all that to be so helpful. And I think as soon as that dress gets zipped up and that last bobby pin gets put in, it really completes for me the mental side of it too, where it's like, okay, I'm locked in now. And everyone who was a part of all of the hair and makeup and the prosthetics, even, I had to wear a belly, all of that, everyone was so talented and it just helped me so much feel in the body and in the skin of Lorraine.
Hmm. I think it was a wonderful aspect of it that made it so real while on set. But even like I grew out my sideburns and she had her brunette hair. So even while we were walking around London together, we were already like a little bit different from ourselves. So it does feel like a different era than just our normal day to day.
And with this being the fourth movie in the main Conjuring series, and just the Conjuring being such a big one, widely known and popular franchise in general, are there any like callbacks to earlier movies that fans can really look out for while creating like its own unique story? What does that mean to you both to be able to maybe call back to the earlier movies in this film as well?
Yeah.
It's an honor. Yeah, it is so cool. I mean, there's, without any major spoilers, there are cameos and there's callbacks to different moments that I felt so honored to be able to, as a fan, see those things and be like, oh, how cool that they put in the effort to write this in and to get this done. Um, and just overall, it was very rewarding, I'd say.
Yeah, it's been over a decade with The Conjuring and with the Warrens, and I think um being the last installment, it's emotional and there's a lot of sentimental, beautiful moments in the movie that I think conclude this epic story in a really beautiful way that I hope people will love.
Yeah. And with this being the final installment of the Conjuring films, are you both interested in continuing in the horror genre moving forward with other movies, and looking forward to doing like more horror in general as well?
Oh, 100%. I think the horror space right now is so exciting. And some of the most epic films every year are fit into the horror genre. Even The Substance was one of my favorite films last year. I think that was last year. And it's its own flavor of horror, but the production design on that, everything, weapons, there's so many cool horror movies right now, and people are getting really playful and creative in that space. And I think it's very exciting for horror right now. And I would love to stay in it.
Mhm.
I don't think I could have said it better. I agree with everything she said. Horror is so exciting, especially now. The stakes are higher than ever when in a horror movie. It's just a great genre to play around with.
Mhm. And were there any like props in this film as well, or like production design or elements that you really also enjoyed, like helping you get into character on set? What was that experience like, and really like you using the props to your advantage as well?
I think everything on set was so detailed that as soon as you walked in and the door closed behind you, you were in another world. The, in the beginning sequence, without giving anything away, everything on the walls and, the floor, just every little detail, the dust on the books was there, and it really just put you into a whole different headspace.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting to compare the audition versus when you're actually on set shooting. And I think about the scenes we had to audition with and then actually shooting, there's so much there to support you. Even the simple fact of during a birth scene being able to lie on a historically accurate cot, birthing cot, like that physically helps put you into the space. And when there's all of those tools there, it really just helps bring things alive, and things that you had to imagine in the audition you don't have to imagine anymore because it's actually there. And yeah, the production design and the art, the props were just so well done, and it really is so helpful to be in the world. I mean, so much of the work it's taken off of you because you get to just be there.
Yeah. Mhm. Okay, I think that was mainly it, but thank you both again for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Great
Yeah,
talking.
thanks
You're
for talking with
welcome.
us.
You're welcome. Thank you again.